Welcome to our Damian's E-Class, where we will be learning about the practical application of biology, physics, and chemistry. Now, without further ado, let us start. So what do we mean by immune system? The immune system have a vital role in protecting the organism from diseases or other potentially damaging foreign bodies, as it identifies threat and find ways to fight them. Animals have the ability to become immune when they are exposed to infection, but plants cannot do so. And did you know that there are 3 types of lymphocytes? What are these, you may ask? First, have the T lymphocytes, which participates in the process of cellular immunity. Second, we have the B lymphocytes that participates in the process of humoral immunity. And lastly, we have the NK lymphocytes, which is the natural cytotoxicity against cancer cells and virus-infected cells. Now, let us discuss the 2 types of immune system responses. First, we have the innate immune response. It is the first to respond to an infection as it acts fast, non-specific, and never changes from exposure to exposure. It involves barrier defenses like skin, mucous membrane, and secretion. In humans and in most vertebrates, the skin and ectodermal derivatives is the first line of defense against infection. If there is an invading pathogen, like a virus or bacteria or any foreign substance, the body reacts through mucus secretion. The second type is the adaptive immune response. It involves the recognition of traits specific to a particular pathogen. It is made possible because of the humoral response, which is the production and secretion of antibodies of immunoglobulins against specific antigens, and through cell-mediated response, which occurs when cytotoxic cells defend the body against infection.
Types of pathogens are parasite, protozoa, fungi, prokaryote, various, and prion. Each plant cells contains receptors that recognize pathogen molecules. When an invader is identified by the receptors, it triggers the defense responses. Such responses include cell wall production and thickening, as well as production of antimicrobial compounds such as phytoalexins and enzymes, and even cell death. Often, suicide in plant cells is the most common response to pathogens. Because pathogens feed on living tissues, the infected cells die. This prevents pathogens from accessing nutrients and spreading through the rest of the plant. This hypersensitive response is common short-term response in which the cells surrounds the site of infection are either killed or given the signal to undergo apoptosis or programmed cell death.
Magnetic field is the region around magnetic material or a moving electric charge within which the force of magnetism acts. It protects us from the solar winds. These are currents of particles charged of energy emanated from the sun which emit radiation. The magnetosphere deflects the dangerous ultraviolet rays of the sun, keeping us safe from any risk.
Ever wondered how a speaker works? In order to convert an electrical signal into an audible sound, it contains an electromagnet. So what is an electromagnet? It is a metal coil that creates a magnetic field when an electric current flows through it. This means that it is attracted to and repelled from the permanent magnet, vibrating back and forth. Have you wondered how the refrigerator functions? Such as how the refrigerator door remains closed. The weak ferromagnetic ceramics like barium ferrite or strontium ferrite present in the fridge magnet aligns the spins of unpaired electrons in metal atoms in the fridge in such a way that the magnet and the fridge door are attracted to each other. Therefore, this force keeps the doors closed anytime. How about in computers? Well, data are stored in hard disk drives in the basis of magnetism. There's a coating of magnetic material on the disk, consisting of billions or even trillions of tiny magnets. With the use of an electromagnetic head, data is stored in the disk itself. How about microwave ovens? Microwave ovens also work with the help of magnetic force. They use a device called a magnetron to generate the power for cooking. A magnetron is a vacuum tube designed to cause electrons to circulate a loop inside the tube. A magnet is placed around the tube to provide the magnetic force that causes the electrons to move in a loop.
What is magnetic flux? Magnetic flux is defined as the number of magnetic field lines passing through a given closed surface. It provides the measurement of the total magnetic field that passes through a given surface area.
The contribution to magnetic flux for a given area is equal to the area times the component of magnetic field perpendicular to the area. For a closed surface, the sum of magnetic flux is always equal to 0.
Mass percentage is one way of representing the concentration of an element in a compound of a component in a mixture.
One example is a nutrition label. This is found on the container of every bit of processed food sold by the local grocery store. Employs the idea of percent composition. On all nutrition labels, a known serving size is broken down into 5 categories: total fat, cholesterol, sodium, total carbohydrate, and protein.
The volume percent of a solution is defined as the ratio of the volume of solute in a solution relative to the total volume of the solution.
One example is wine. Wine has a typical alcohol content of 12%. This means that there are 12 ml of ethanol in every 100 ml of wine.
The number of molecules of a specific component in a mixture divided by the total number of moles in the given mixture is referred to as the mole fraction. It's a way of expressing a solution concentration. When two reactive components are mixed together, the mole fraction of each component is useful because the ratio of the two components is known if the mole fraction of each component is known.
The mole is a commonly used unit in the field of medicine. For example, concentrations of intravenous solutions and drugs are expressed in terms of moles.
Molarity is the number of moles of solute per liter of solution is referred to as a molarity. It can be used to determine the amount of solute or the volume of solvent.
One example is Coca-Cola soft drinks. With molarity, it indicates the number of moles of solute per liter of solution. Molarity can be used to calculate the volume of solvent or the amount of solute.
Molality or the molar concentration. It is the amount of substance dissolved in a certain mass of solvent. It is defined as a mole of a solute per kilogram of a solvent.
Seawater is one of the best examples of a solution with multiple solute. There are numerous of salts in this giant water body. The presence of these salts makes seawater saline. The most common ions in seawater are chloride, sodium, magnesium, and sulfate.
Lastly is the ppm or the parts per million. It is the measurement of a concentration of a solution.
For example, 1 ppm of chlorine represents 1 part of chlorine in 1 million parts of air by weight, which is 1.45 mg per meter cube.
Now, as we end our Damien's E-class, I hope you learned a lot as you equip yourself with this newfound knowledge and have had a better understanding about biology, physics, and chemistry.